Hello Dead by Daylight Achievement Hunters, my name is Evelyn, and today I will be giving you guys some tips and tricks to get some of DPD's hardest achievements. One thing I will need to mention though, is that I will not be covering any of the Adept achievements, as Otz made a very comprehensive video on this topic. However, there is one killer who has recently been changed to a degree where I feel Otz's video is obsolete on her, that being Plague. Plague got some of her add-ons reworked recently, and one of these I found to make getting Plague's Adept considerably easier than without it. I'm talking about Plague's Prayer Tablet Fragment, which basically removed you vomiting on people and instead heavily buffed object infection. What makes this add-on especially good for this achievement is that it will also double the points you get in the Devious category, which normally getting Adept Plague before was incredibly difficult, as you couldn't really use your power. So, I would recommend using both the Prayer Tablet Fragment along with an Object Infection Duration add-on like the Limestone Seal or the however you pronounce that word seal. I'm not going to try. This actually works really well in general. If you go around vomiting on generators, seeing someone becoming infected is a great way to tell where someone is, and with Corrupt, there's only 4 generators they could be on at the moment. Also, you'll want to use the Corrupted Pools of Devotion as much as you can so you can get more deviousness points. And, of course, as with many adepts, you'll unfortunately have to artificially extend chases. Alright, no more adepts from now on. What is up next, however, is what has been considered the most difficult achievement in the game for a while now, Evil Incarnate, which requires you to kill, as in the command, all 4 survivors with either Michael Myers' Tombstone Piece or Judas' Tombstone add-ons. However, due to Michael's add-ons recently being reworked, I wouldn't consider this achievement to be quite the beast it used to be. It's definitely not easy though. If one person decides it would be funny if you didn't get the achievement by going into a locker, you are not going to get the achievement. If you don't play your cards right, you are not getting the achievement. The first thing I would recommend with this one is to not use the Fragrant Tuft of Hair to make you have a permanent tier 3. While this sounds like a good idea, it makes it significantly harder to get this achievement because you will be stalking until there's only about 1 generator left, which is not going to be enough time unless you were to perhaps get lucky and all 4 survivors decide to just stand there and do nothing from then on. I also recommend not using the Tombstone Piece because of it resetting Evil Within after 1 kill. If you were to use this add-on, you have much more stalking to do, and while you could combine it with the Fragrant Tuft of Hair, as I said, you'll be stalking for 80% of the game. What I recommend using for this achievement would be Judas' Tombstone and the Judith Myers Memorial, which would increase your stock rate by 25% across the board. You'll also have to use very different perks than what you're probably used to. No barbecue, no save the best for last, no nurses calling, nothing that requires you to hook a survivor or hit them, which is why I heavily recommend using Play With Your Food, which lucky for you comes with Michael. I would consider this to be the most important perk to equip when trying this achievement, due to the fact that Michael would be an entire 9% slower when you can kill someone, making chase considerably more difficult. The build I recommend using is Play With Your Food, Enduring, Fearmonger, and Corrupt Intervention. Enduring is good because of the fact you'll always want to risk getting hit by a pallet to secure the kill. Fearmonger is good due to the fact that it will stop people from using Sprint Burst or later using it dead hard if you find them on a generator since you're a stealth killer. And lastly, Corrupt Intervention will give you some much needed game delay and also bring the survivors to you, prime for stalking. Now, we have what I do consider to be the most difficult achievement in Dead by Daylight, that being In the Void She Kills. This achievement not only requires you to be a good nurse in general, which is a feat in and of itself, not only bring one of her iridescent add-ons, which is rare to find, but also do one of the most difficult things you can do as nurse, that being a blink grab, and you have to do this after 3 blinks. You'll most likely have to throw many games in order to get this achievement, unfortunately. The other add-on I recommend to pair with the Torn Bookmark is the Fragile Wheeze, which will make your blinks gain charges quicker so you can try this more often, and also since the iridescent you'll be using makes blinks take 50% longer to charge. I heavily recommend using Tinkerer for 2 reasons. First off, it tells you that survivors are somewhere where they are vulnerable to being grabbed, and second off, because it makes you have no terror radius, which makes grabbing easier since the survivors won't see you coming. To help you in this regard, I also recommend using indoor map offerings, in particular Larry's or the RPD. They're very tight and maze-like, which will contribute to your stealth and ability to get the grab. You can also just use any stealth perks in general. If you really wanted to, you could just camp near a generator with Insidious, but using Tinkerer lets you enjoy some normal gameplay as well. Skilled Huntress is a bitch of an achievement. Hitting someone from 24 meters away is nearly impossible on many maps due to objects simply being in the way. Not to mention, your hit must be a down in order for it to count. There are many ways to go about this, the most common one being using Devour Hope and standing just outside the necessary 24-meter radius. However, this is a bad idea for multiple reasons. 1. Survivors are unlikely to unhook somebody if they are injured. 2. There often isn't a direct line of sight that will be visible from the 24 meters. And lastly, it's fucking boring. Here's what I recommend using. Aura reading perks, like A Nurse's Calling, are helpful because they show you where the survivor is, and also because the survivor will be one hit if they're healing, meaning you can down them for achievement progress. Not to mention, it's also very close to the 24 meters. Barbecue is also good to get a good idea of where the survivors are. You can prepare to hit them from a distance. But what I consider to be the most important aspect of this achievement is using map offerings. You want a map that is really wide open with as few obstacles in the way as possible. I found Ormond to be the best for this, with the swamp being okay, and Macmillan Estate having a 1 in 5 chance of being okay due to shelter woods. But the rest of the maps you would think of as open, like Mother's Dwelling, aren't very good due to the sheer amount of trees that would block your otherwise perfect shot. I also recommend getting used to the Hatchet Flight Speed add-ons, as most of the shots you'll hit from this far away will be catching survivors off guard, and you won't have that long to get them. If you're doing this achievement on PlayStation, where you're supposed to do this 100 times instead of 20, I salute you. Now, Left 4 Dead requires you to hope for the worst, in that the rest of your team dies. However, it needs to be the right kind of worst. The kind of worst where you can complete a generator before the killer finds the hatch and open an exit gate. I recommend bringing a certain build which will help alleviate some of the difficulties of this achievement. The perks I recommend bringing are Wake Up, Spine Chill, Adrenaline, and Dark Sense. Wake Up will let you open the exit gates quicker, which can be very crucial as to whether or not you escape. Spine Chill helps with this and as to how quickly you can open the gate, and also lets you know if the killer is near. Adrenaline is quite nice for this build as well, as it heals you up and gives you a boost to get to the nearest gate. Dark Sense will also show you the killer for 10 seconds when you complete the last generator, which is a great start as well for formulating a plan as to which gate to choose. A repair toolbox is also a good idea to bring, preferably with a brand new part. This achievement ultimately comes down to luck, but following these steps will put the odds more in your favor. Now, the Power Moves, Skill Generalist, and Expert Generalist achievements all kind of blend in together. They all force you to use either 3, 2, or no perks and limit you to those of the base game. I can't give much advice for Power Moves since you can't equip any perks, but I will say you should always bring an item, preferably a medkit, and avoid looping. However, Skill Generalist and Expert Generalist are different, as I can actually recommend some builds for you. For Expert Generalist, I heavily recommend using Resilience and Spine Chill together. They'll give you a combined 15% faster vault speed when active, you'll do every action faster when injured, and you'll know when the killer is coming. For Skill Generalist, I recommend adding either Inner Strength or Kindred into the mix. Both are good perks in general, and I recommend using Kindred even more if you're trying to get these achievements alone. These perks allow you to play the game as you would normally, as with little limit as possible given the circumstances. It is important to note though, if you decide to do the Expert Generalist first, progress towards that achievement counts only for that achievement and does not stack with Skill Generalist as well. On a similar note, we have Tools of the Trade, which is essentially the killer version of Skill Generalist, forcing you to use 3 base game perks. Only this time you have to get a Merciless Victory 5 times instead of 8. This achievement can be frustrating to deal with, due to the fact Merciless Victories can be hard to come by. The build I recommend using is Whispers, Sloppy Butcher, and Jolt. Whispers will help you find survivors, and Sloppy Butcher and Jolt will give you some game delay as well. I also recommend using a killer like Freddy, due to the fact that he has a lot of bonus blood points given to him during the trial for survivors falling asleep or using your teleport. Pinhead also works well in this regard due to the chain hunts that happen. Lastly, we have Item of Obsession. This achievement requires you to not get hit once in the trial, which is already difficult. Then it slaps on being the obsession, and lastly, you have to be the last one to escape. This achievement is incredibly difficult to pull off. It took me many tries, but using Decisive Strike, Soul Survivor, Spine Chill, and Quick and Quiet, I was able to get the achievement. I can almost guarantee that you will need Soul Survivor for this build, as weird as it sounds. Due to Decisive Strike being a common perk, which increases the chances for someone to be the obsession, you'll need to bring something else that increases your odds of being the obsession, in which case you'll likely get it. Plus, as a neat little bonus, it does hide your aura under bad circumstances. An obsession perk like Object of Obsession is a bad idea to bring, due to the fact that your aura will be shown to the killer, which will lead them right to you so they can hit you and you pull your hair out because god damn it, this is your 27th time trying this achievement, why can't I get it already? Spine Chill will be great for you since you'll have to play very cowardly, with a lot of hiding in lockers, which is why I also recommend Quick and Quiet, as this allows you to quickly enter a locker or vault if necessary. Also, unless you're in a coordinated friend group, I recommend hiding in a locker as well while your teammates escape. This achievement can be quite frustrating to deal with because, well, getting hit is part of the game, but that simply can't be done in this case. Alrighty, well, hopefully this video will help you out with getting some of the more difficult achievements in Dead by Daylight. Obviously the reason I made this video is because of their difficulty, so if you can't get the achievement quickly, that's alright. Don't be afraid to try a different approach than mine if you think you'll get better results, and good luck and have a great day.